Asteroid falling. Boom! The whole planet on fire. You already know the dinosaurs didn't make it. But what actually survived that exact same extinction? Number 5. Crocodilians. When that asteroid hit 66 million years ago and wiped out roughly 3/4 of everything alive, every single non-avian dinosaur died in a pretty tight window. Crocodiles and alligators, despite being large, hungry predators, doing basically the exact same job description as the dinosaurs that didn't make it, just kept vibing. So what did evolution actually hand them? First, an ectothermic, cold-blooded metabolism that burns a fraction of the energy a warm-blooded animal needs just to stay alive, which meant they could survive over a year without eating if they absolutely had to. Second, a semi-aquatic lifestyle, meaning water buffered them from surface wildfires and temperature swings that scorched everything living purely on land. Third, an armored, low-maintenance body that requires almost no upkeep and a genuinely unbothered willingness to eat literally anything that touches the water. Their whole body plan was already perfected 200 million years before the extinction happened. So evolution basically shrugged and said, why fix it? Some of us are still trying to find one system in our lives that's worked for 200 million years, let alone 200 days. Number 4. Horseshoe crabs. This one didn't just survive the dinosaur extinction. It also lived through the Permian extinction 250 million years ago, the actual worst mass die-off in Earth's history, charmingly nicknamed the Great Dying, which erased about 90% of all marine life. Horseshoe crabs said no thanks twice. Here's the actual evolutionary toolkit. A thick, simple exoskeleton that needs minimal energy to maintain and shrugs off physical damage. A scavenger diet, meaning they'll eat whatever organic scraps happen to be lying around the seafloor instead of depending on one specific food source that could vanish overnight. And most famously, a blue, copper-based blood that clots instantly the second it touches bacterial toxins, a property discovered by biologist Frederick Bang, which just so happens to also be exactly why every vaccine and IV medication on the planet gets tested using it today. An animal older than most mountain ranges is out here quietly protecting modern medicine and getting absolutely nothing for it. Not a statue, not a thank you card, nothing. Number 3. The coelacanth. For decades, this fish was confidently declared extinct, gone right alongside the dinosaurs, printed in textbooks as a closed case. Then, in 1938, museum curator Marjorie Courtenay-Latimer looked at a weird fish sitting in a trawler's catch and went, hang on. Ichthyologist J.L.B. Smith later confirmed it. This thing was a living coelacanth, a species science had already written an obituary for. So what let it hide in plain sight for 66 million years? It lives in deep, dark coastal caves, several hundred feet down, a habitat so stable and untouched by surface catastrophe that the asteroid's chaos barely reached it at all. It also gives birth to live young instead of laying vulnerable eggs, and has a specialized electrical sensor in its snout that lets it hunt in total darkness without needing light at all. It didn't have to out-evolve anything. It just found a spot the apocalypse forgot to check. Genuinely one of the great comeback stories, and it got zero press tour. Number 2. The Tuatara. This isn't just an old animal. It's the last member standing of an entire ancient reptile order called Rhynchocephalia, a whole family tree that was thriving while dinosaurs were still the main characters. Everything else in that order is gone. Just gone. So what's the Tuatara's actual survival secret? An unusually slow metabolism, even for a reptile, letting it function normally at temperatures that would shut down most other reptiles entirely. A lifespan that regularly pushes past 100 years, giving it far more chances across its life to successfully reproduce even if conditions are rough some seasons. And a light-sensing organ under its forehead that people casually call a third eye, because apparently one eye setup wasn't dramatic enough, believed to help track seasonal light cues for timing its biology correctly. It survived the actual asteroid that ended the dinosaurs. It almost didn't survive rats, introduced by humans a few hundred years ago, because sometimes, the thing that nearly finishes off a 200 million year survivor is a rodent that snuck off a boat. Number 1. The Nautilus. Okay, but let me actually be serious for a second. Imagine being so quietly well-designed that you simply never needed to become anything else, while everything around you kept reinventing itself into squids and octopuses with bigger brains and flashier tricks, and honestly, a lot more attention. Here's exactly what it's been running on for 500 million years. A gas-filled, chambered shell that adjusts its own buoyancy automatically, letting it drift through deep water using almost no energy at all. A slow metabolism paired with a simple scavenging diet, so it never depended on any one food source staying available. And a stable deep ocean habitat that simply never demanded it change, generation after generation. The Nautilus's coiled shell and basic body plan have stayed almost completely unchanged for roughly 500 million years before dinosaurs existed, after they vanished, just quietly drifting through the same deep water this entire time, never needing applause, never needing anyone to notice, just continuing to be exactly what it already was. Most of what gets remembered from Earth's history is whatever was loudest or biggest right before it disappeared. And if you've ever kept doing something quietly and consistently for a very long time with nobody keeping score, you already know exactly what these 5 animals have in common. And it was never really about getting credit in the first place.